you also. Surya Prakash is currently the Global Head, Talent Transformation at Wipro, Digital Operations and Platform. He has 23 years of experience in various leadership roles in several leading IT and IT-enabled service organizations. Prior to Wipro, he has worked in HP, Microlab, First Ring, Computer Garage, and a few other organizations. Surya has extensive experience in setting up and running the learning development function for the organizations in India and in international locations. Surya has set up the global training function for Wipro, which spanned across the 10 locations in Brazil, Mexico, Romania, Poland, China, and India, to name a few. He has led leadership development and capacity building, including the talent management efforts in various organizations. He was instrumental in setting up the Management Academy and Domain, Gurukul in Wipro BPO. Surya brings with him a vast experience of knowledge centers of excellence, various domains, including defining and implementing training models for rural BPO, Tier 3 BPO, etc. In his current role at Wipro, he is engaged in evolving strategies for building organizational capability, developing people, managing organizational knowledge across in order to drive Wipro's vision. In the past, he played a key role in setting up the training function in HP GPS. He was also one of the key contributors to HP's Karishma program as the global leader for the training tower. Surya is a leadership development trainer. He has delivered training sessions in senior leaders on the topic including change management, leadership in VUCA world, learning agility, impactful public speaking, etc. Surya is a speaker of international repute. He speaks regularly in various national and international forums on the topics related to HR, learning and development, corporate culture and spirituality. He has spoken at conferences organized by Indian Oil Corporation, EMC, CIA, NHRBN, IIM Bangalore, World HRD Congress, World Education Congress, Southeast Asia Satsang, to name a few. Thank you, sir. The dais is yours.
Hello. Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for this beautiful introduction, but don't think I'm here just because everything that my friend read about myself. I'm here for one reason, because Professor Desai, who is known for his, as our Professor Banerjee was saying in the morning, he is known for distributing wealth. And it is his desire to bring a misfit like me into this great occasion. And his desire, his inclusiveness has brought me here. So that's why I'm here. So all of you are great luminaries, principals, professors, directors from eminent institutions across the country, eminent technical education institutions across the country. So I'm obviously a misfit, but it's your desire to include me into this ecosystem has made me come here. Something interesting about this session, this is the Karnataka commemorative convocation lecture, and all of you know that I have come from Bangalore. So this lecture, which is being organized by the Karnataka chapter, essentially symbolizes my place, my karma bhumi, as all of you know. And Bhubaneswar, the city where it is happening, is my Janma Bhumi. This is the city where I was born, lived here for many, many years before I moved to Bangalore. So it's fabulous to be back here and be in the midst of all of you and then be part of this session today. Today we are going to deliberate on a very interesting topic. The larger theme of this convention, as all of us know, is crisis in technical education. So we would deliberate on that, Our idea is not to cry over the crisis, but the idea is to see what can we do, how can we take on this challenge head on and make a difference in this country. How can we transform the way we run education in this country and bring about a significant shift, make a difference, make this country brighter and better. So when we talk about the crisis in the space of technical education, it's also important for us to know what's happening all around us. What's happening all around us? What is impacting education today? That's extremely important. Why are we going through this phase which we call a crisis? What are the trends that we are seeing today in the industry which is really impacting education, and what education needs to do, the education system, educational institutions need to do to deal with these trends, the challenges. There are a few things which are very interesting that are happening. And since I come from the industry, I work for a multinational information and technology company as the head of talent transformation for that organization's digital operations and platforms group. There are a few things that I see, and I would like to bring those symptoms to your attention. The first thing, the gig economy is here. I believe all of you are familiar with the gig economy. The gig economy is the economy where we have contract workers, part-time workers, entrepreneurs, workers working for multiple employers at the same time. This is the reality of our gig economy. The days of full-time employment is slowly disappearing. So we are moving towards gig economy, and the youngsters today, the youngsters who are pursuing their professional education in your institutions are the ones who will be more keen on becoming part of this gig economy. They would like to have a life. They would also have to have a profession. They would like to have perfect work-life balance. That's the symptom of the gig economy. The other day, I had ordered some food through Swiggy, and a gentleman, young boy, arrived at the door. He pressed the bell. I opened the door and I saw a bright young man in his 20s standing in front of the door. I asked him, "What do you do?" He said, "This is what I do. I deliver food to our customers." I said, "Tell me more about you." He said, "I dropped out of my engineering curriculum in the second year. I was in the second year of mechanical engineering in a college." But I said, "Why? What made you do this?" He said, "This job gives me $35,000 a month. I'm now not keen on going back to the college and pursue it, because I don't think even after I complete my engineering, even if I work for 2 years or 3 years, I'm going to get this kind of money. I'm happy to do this." So that's the change that we are seeing today, and how we as promoters and the principals and the heads of professional educational institutions, how are we going to foresee that, and then how are we going to prepare for the change? Knowledge is fast becoming obsolete. The knowledge that all of us acquired in our education, we use a very small percentage of that. What I studied in the university and what I use today in my job, there is very little relations in between the two. The knowledge that is required in future, ladies and gentlemen, does not exist today. So what education we are providing? The knowledge that we are providing today may not be relevant tomorrow. The knowledge that is required tomorrow does not exist today. So we have a challenge at hand. Employers value skills over qualification. Top 15 companies, front runners, they have already announced. These are the companies who said, we value skills over qualification. We do not mandate a university degree to give you a job. If you're competent, if you're capable, if you can do the job, irrespective of the qualification that you have, we will give you a job. That's what I think one of the guests was asking today. Do we need for undergraduate courses, do we need experts who have done their PhD? So that's a shift that's happening in the industry. Industry today is valuing skill set over qualification. These are highly renowned organizations in the industry who have publicly announced that we don't care about qualification. What we care about is skills. We have not seen any direct linkage between qualification and competency. So that's the trend that we are seeing, which is going to impact technical education in the country. Alternate modes of learning are available. Future is self-directed learning. So while we have the best of infrastructure, the best of faculty members, the best of professors, the future is going to be self-directed learning. There are millions of people who are enrolling for MOOCs courses every year. Courses offered by massive open online courses providers, and there are millions of people who are enrolling for these programs. And many of these youngsters and professionals who are enrolling for these programs are for skill enhancement, to enhance their career prospects. The future is all about self-directed learning. Before the automobile industry came into existence, how people used to commute? Like this, isn't it? They had horses, they had a coach, they had a coachman. And this is how people used to commute. Would you agree with me? And what happened when the automobile industry became popular? We had cars, vehicles, four-wheelers, two-wheelers. What happened? This is what happened. We said, Mr. Horseman, we don't need you. Horses, we don't need you. Because we can now drive ourselves. That's the reality. So when automobile industry became popular, what happened? Passengers became drivers. In organization, what's going to happen? People are going to become self-reliant. They will say, we'll figure it out, don't worry. We know how to make it happen. So, I experience it every day because I live in Bangalore, and then whenever I pass through the Bangalore traffic, sometimes it so happens that in some places the traffic signal stops working. And it can be chaos. It can be absolute disaster. But if you have been in a situation like that, what has been your experience? You are in a traffic, you are in crazy traffic, but the traffic signals stop working. What happens next? There is complete chaos after some time. You haven't experienced it because you are in Bhubaneswar. You don't experience it every day. But I experience that every day. And after some time, somebody will get down from his car, somebody will get down from his two-wheeler, somebody will start controlling the traffic. There are some do-gooders, social champions. They will get into action and they will help, and people will start maneuvering their vehicles through the traffic, and the traffic will start moving. This is called a self-organizing system. Whether cops are there or not there, whether traffic signals are working or not working, people take charge. People take charge of the chaos, find some structure in that madness, and things become normal after some time. This is an example of self-organizing system. Tomorrow, organizations are going in that direction. Learning is going in that direction. Where in organizations, learning is going to become a self-organizing system. Whether organizations provide education or not, whether universities provide education or not, people will take charge of their learning. That's the shift that we're going to see. What else we are seeing? Many industries and products are going to become things of the past. You agree with me, isn't it? Some industries have already disappeared. Some jobs have already disappeared. We don't have anything called an STD booth today, for an example. We don't have a typewriter today. So many products, many solutions, many industries are disappearing. They are saying, I was talking to a restaurant owner in Bangalore. He said 70% of my business is through Swiggy and Zomato, and then through those app-based partners who help me increase my business. 70% of his business runs out of that. So many restaurants will close down. Many of them will go out of the business. So many industries, many jobs, many products, many ideas, many solutions will disappear. So we, the technical education institutions, what are we preparing our people for? Jobs which will disappear, industries which will not be there, organizations which will not be there, products and solutions which will not exist. We have a challenge on hand. Technology is shifting the balance of power, putting the knowledge at the center stage. So the knowledge is at center stage. So, in the good old days, power was with politicians, with the rich, people who had money. Today, who has power? The guy who has knowledge. The guy who has knowledge can make a big difference. More than 50% of America's growth in the last few years have come from startups which did not exist about half a decade ago or a decade ago. These startups have just come in a span of 10 years. They're contributing to more than 50% of America's growth. What does it mean? It means knowledge, innovation. Are we driving innovation in our students through our education system? Are we driving creativity? Because innovation and creativity will contribute to wealth accumulation, wealth creation in the future. The example that I shared with you, more than 50% of America's growth have come from companies which did not even exist 10 years ago. That's the shift that's happening. We are living through times of accelerator change, and attention span of learners is reducing. What is attention span of a learner in the classroom? Many of us are professionals, teachers. What is a scientifically researched duration that we know of? I think we're very optimistic and ambitious. Research says 7 minutes. Every 7 minutes, the student loses his attention. The faculty member has to do something different to grab his or her attention back into what he or she is teaching. Otherwise, you lose the student. 7 minutes. Every 7 minutes, the student is likely to. Some more recent research says not even 7 minutes. Possibly it's going to be in seconds. Because of our exposure to multiple screens in WhatsApp, in our smartphones, etc., which means our attention is just shifting, attention span is just getting reduced. So we need to put that extra effort to do something very different. That attention which is going away every 7 minutes, bring it back. That's a big challenge on the part of the institution and the faculty member. So these are some of the trends which are actually impacting our business. And I talked about this example a few minutes ago. Chaos. And there are some champions like this who stand up and then help control the traffic. And that's a great example of learning becoming a self-organizing system. What's the fallout? We talked about the challenges. We talked about industries disappearing, jobs disappearing, products disappearing. We talked about the attention span. We talked about MOOCs becoming a threat. We talked about learning becoming a self-directed activity. We talked about industries, organizations not paying attention to qualification, So all these trends are impacting education, and the fallout is educational institutions shutting down. The fallout is the students who come out of the educational institutions are not employable. So that's a big challenge. That's a crisis that we're dealing with. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not as bad as it looks. It's not as bad as it appears. While we can talk about challenges, the dark side of things for hours together, we also should look at opportunities. There are great opportunities that are lying ahead of all of us. That's our demographic trends. Our demographic trends are giving huge opportunity to educational institutions like yours. Because we have a country where more than half of the population is below 25 years. That's a great opportunity for us. We have got 226 million young boys and girls who are ready to get into higher education. Are you ready to accept that? 226 million young boys and girls ready, almost ready to get into higher education. We are a young country. In 2020, the average age of the population in Japan is going to be 47. Average age of Japan's population will be 47. China is going to be 40 plus. Europe is going to be 46 or more. United States of America, the average age of the population next year is going to be 42. Any guess, ladies and gentlemen, what it is in India?
25.
25. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have great opportunity. By 2020, we will have 160 million people in the age group of 20 to 24. China will have about 94 million, just about 94 million, even in spite of being the country with the highest population. US will be 70 million short in terms of how many people they will need at the working age. India would have 160 million people in the age group of 20 to 24 ready to start a professional career. Are we ready to provide them the competencies, the skills, the talent that they need to make it big? That's a question we need to answer, but it throws out tremendous opportunities to all of us. Education in India is also a national security issue. And why is it a national security issue? If you don't educate people in India, what are they going to do? They will resort to crime, terrorism, all kinds of anti-social activities. If you have millions of young people and if you don't educate them, you have a problem. It's going to be a national security issue. So we have to educate them. We don't have a choice. That gives us great opportunity. So while we have been talking about crisis in the education space, in the technical education space, ladies and gentlemen, there are just plenty of opportunities ahead of us. We just need to grab this opportunity. We need to be ready to grab this opportunity and make the best out of it. But what's the real issue? In spite of the opportunities, what's the real issue? Why are we struggling? Why are we not able to make a mark? Why are we not able to transform the education space? What's the real issue? What are the challenges which are knocking us down? What can we make? What can we do to make a difference? Let's do a little deep dive into the challenges, the real issues that we are grappling with. The real issue today is focus on quantity rather than quality. Mushroom growth of institutions. Everybody getting into either an engineering or an MBA curriculum. Just abundant quantity, but focus on quality is the same. So with the third and fourth industrial revolution, when industry started coming in to our country, and then when we opened up our economies, when IT industry started expanding and growing, we realized there's tremendous paucity of manpower. and the country opened up thousands of colleges. We reached a state where we had more institutions than what we need. We had more people getting into this stream, like that young boy who delivers food for Swiggy, who dropped out in the second year. So focus on quantity became a problem, and the quality became an issue. Focus on rote learning, pattern recognition, rather than learning through application. So my son is doing his master's in University of Sussex, and when he went there, started his classes, and then initially when he told me that he classes only 3 days a week, remaining 2 days is expected to be in the lab doing something or in the shop floor. It was very surprising for me. It was difficult for me to accept. How can you not have classes every day? This is what Prime Minister Modi, when he went to Germany, he said, look at the education system in the country. 3 days in the classroom, two days in the shop floor. But our system is 365 days in the classroom. No application. Lack of quality faculty members. And we don't have to blame faculty members. We did not position the role of a faculty member as an attractive option to our youngsters. Curriculum not in place. With technology changing every now and then, it has become difficult for an institution to keep pace with changes in the curriculum. Lack of research in academic institutions. And Vice Chancellor of Anna University today was talking about the same thing. Number 3 or number 15 in research publication, but the quality of research is absolutely poor. Lack of motivation in taking risks. And that goes back to our culture, our families, our homes. We can't expect our engineering graduates to be taking risks, because all their childhood and their adolescence, we have told them, go and study, I am there behind you. You don't have to worry about anything else. How many of you will be willing to send your son or daughter to do a part-time job after he or she completes 10th standard? Not even a single hand going up. Not even a single hand going up. That's the fundamental problem. We as parents have never encouraged risk taking. We have never encouraged action learning. We have never put our children, we have never pushed them to the wall. We have never pushed them out of their comfort zones. A parent will say, don't worry about anything else. I will take care of everything. You just focus on the study. Get good marks. That's the challenge. And the same thing continues in educational institutions. We get them to study and pass exams, but there is no opportunity to make mistakes, fail, experiment, and learn from them. Of course, the preparation industry, the coaching industry is much bigger industry than the education industry itself. And you know this gentleman, great guys, industrialists, tycoons, business icons, and what's common among all of them?
Dropouts.
No formal education. Some formal education. Dropouts. None of them have an MBA, of course. I don't think any one of them has a BTech or a BTech. So that means, but they are highly successful people. That means our education system does not teach something that is essential for professional success. Success in life, success in profession, success in business. Ability to think. We don't get our people to think. We get them to memorize, by heart, and reproduce an exam. Ability to deal with failure. We don't create situations for them where they can fail and learn from it. ability to deal with ambiguity, ability to tolerate the frustration of ambiguity. The whole corporate world, industry, companies like us, when they step into that, they deal with ambiguity every day. Nothing is so well defined. In the education system, everything is well defined. In the corporate, nothing is defined. You have to find your answers. You have to deal with ambiguity, the complexity, the challenges, which is global, multicultural, multi-geography, which is complex because of government regulations, because of competition, because of various other things, which really makes the environment complex and ambiguous and volatile. But our system doesn't allow that. So they find it very difficult to deal with that. In educational institution, it's all about solving problems. In the corporate, the problem is not known. In educational curriculum, the problem is defined and you know the steps to solve the problem. In the industry, in organization, the problems are not defined. First of all, we need to understand what the problem is. We need to ask the right questions to understand what the problem is. That's the challenge. Emotional intelligence and empathy. We don't teach that. We don't teach that. So it's time to step up the game. How do you step up the game? What we need to do differently? What educational institutions like yours should start doing differently? Bring in experiential learning into the campus. Make learning experiential, action-driven, action-oriented. Look at the Germany model that we talked about. 3 days in the classroom, 2 days in the shop floor. Make it experiential. Stop spoon-feeding students. Teach them to fish. Don't give them a fish. That's what we do in the education system. We give them a fish, but enable them to learn how to fish. That's important. Create opportunities to fail. Make them fail. That's the disruption that we are talking about in the morning in the inaugural session. Multidisciplinary education, common curriculum, build hybrid skills. What does it mean? Today, somebody is studying mechanical engineering, he studies mechanical engineering. Somebody is studying computer science, he studies computer science. But Google, which was a media company, is manufacturing cars. The shift that happened. Amazon is getting into logistics. General Motors has hired more IT engineers in the last 3 years than they have hired automobile engineers. Look at the shift that's happening. Automobile giant hiring more IT engineers. And media IT company is making cars, giving competition to the Fords and Mercedes of this world. What's changing? There is a need to build. Nobody imagined that Google will make cars. Amazon will get into logistics. That's shift that's happening. And that has led to the need for developing multi-specialization, hybrid skills. That's important. A guy who does coding, because of the evolution of ML, artificial intelligence, etc., now needs to know design. Now probably needs to know marketing. Now probably needs to know another technology. A doctor who is a surgeon who believes it's good enough for me to know if I'm a good neurosurgeon, if I know how to, do the surgery, and if I know my subject very well, it's good enough. No. He has to be in the operation theater where he has to use sophisticated instruments. So if he doesn't understand technology, he can't become effective. A doctor has to understand technology. Recently, Google has invented a device which can read the retina of our eyes and predict whether whether somebody is going to have cancer in the next 6 months or not. This device can read the retina of the eyes and predict whether someone is going to have cancer in 6 months. Who would have invented that device? The guy who invented the device, what would be his specialization? Be a cancer specialist? Or? You were saying, no, he has to be a technology specialist. Hybrid skills. So you have to understand technology, needs to understand the science behind medicine, you have to understand multiple aspects of hybrid technology. Our education system is not geared for it because it's very structured, and then it follows a particular pattern and doesn't encourage hybrid promotion of hybrid skills. Provide faculty members stint in industry. Encourage your faculty members to go to industries, work there for 6 months or 1 year, 2 years, take up projects, solve projects. If they don't have the knowledge, if they don't have the exposure, if they don't have the ability to apply the knowledge, then how can they promote that in their students? How can they build the talent and the capability of the students? The faculty members need to spend time with this. That's important. Define accountability, measurable metrics for academics. Metrics in academics largely in the past have been number of enrollments, etc. But how do you shift that? And then how do you shift the metrics towards development of new skills, development of experiential learning curriculum, development of industry-academia partnership? How can we have those metrics and hold those administrators, managers, and the heads of these institutions who run those institutions? What gets measured gets done. If it doesn't get measured, doesn't get done. It's as simple as that. So this is what we need to do to stay on the game. Expectations from the corporate. 2 questions. Are you going to repair and prepare, or are you going to train and prepare? It's corporates for times immemorial have been complaining and cribbing that education system does not give us the talent that we need. So what do they want to do? They want to accept something which is defective, repair it, and then prepare them? Or are we going to train them and prepare them so that they're ready to start on day one? So then we stop this repairing and preparing business. We're ready on day one. That's where corporates need to play an important role. Corporates have 2 options. They can sit down and crib and complain about this, or they can say that, hey, we need to partner with you. We need to tell you what we need. We need to provide you with the latest technology. Our experts will come to your incubation centers and teach your faculty members on the latest technology. We will come and set up those incubation centers, the knowledge centers, the labs in your campus. That's the partnership that needs to happen. We'll provide internship to your students. We will recruit your faculty members as project managers in our organization. We'll keep them the real life exposure. That needs to happen. Corporates, academic institutions, government, and organizations like Indian Society for Technical Education. They need to come together and make those strategic decisions, bring about the changes that we talked about, and they really need to work together to step up the game. And if you don't step up the game, India as a country will be lagging behind, because there is stiff competition that's coming from China, Bangladesh, which is now being dubbed as the Asian Tiger, Latin American countries, some of the European countries, they are very aggressively building skills. Very, very aggressively. They're building both hard skills and soft skills. We cannot take pride in the fact that we are the country with the highest population. We have the largest number of educational institutions, and we provide training to millions of young men and women in this country. If you keep saying that, we will only be living in a utopian dream. We'll be far, far, far away from the reality. And the growth that we have seen in the last few years as a nation will become a thing of the past. So we will need to step up the game. To step up the game means to begin a new journey. As we begin a new journey, we can see two paths leading to different directions. One leads to mediocrity, other leads to excellence. Unfortunately, there is no third path. Either you go to mediocrity or you go to excellence. If you believe there is something in between, something different, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have another path. Either you end up becoming mediocre as an institution, or you become an institution of excellence. You have the choice. The choice is ours. Which path we want to take, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to end, as you decide, I would like to end this with a very famous statement by a spiritual guru, guide from India, Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. He says, systematic organization of habits and instincts with the purpose of fulfilling the becoming of life by a graduated active manipulation of behavior may be called education. That's a very profound statement which talks about education. Education which expands our life, which fulfills the becoming of our life through active graduated manipulation of behavior, habits, instincts. That may be called education. With this, I would like to end wishing you all the best as you begin your journey to excellence.